All right. Welcome to another episode of the Career Talks podcast, episode 72. Can't wait to get to 100. That's going to be phenomenal. But super excited. Please, folks, as you're tuning in, say hello. Let us know where you're coming in from. But before we get started, let me just share that this podcast episode is sponsored by the Career Accelerator Planner. It is a planner designed for you, the corporate professional, for you to track your wins, document your performance and your value in one place. Anytime you're having those crucial career conversations around merit increase, salary bonuses, promotions, transitioning from careers, or need to partner with a resume writer to boost up your resume, you have all your documented wins, all your quantifiable data documented in one place. So definitely jump on over to the careeracceleratorplanner.com and grab you a copy. All right, today is special. I had 72 episodes in, but today, folks, is special. I won't share why until I have this young lady on the platform yet. But I have the CEO and founder of iRock Resume. She is an author. She is a speaker. She is dynamic. She is just beautiful inside and out. Let me just welcome Miss Nickquolette Barrett. Hello.
Hey there. So glad to be with you.
Super happy to have you on.
Yes,
Finally.
sir. I'm honored. I'm honored.
Do you want to tell a story or should I about
You go
why
ahead and
this
tell a
is
story. You know I'm a co-sign, so go ahead.
so a couple of years back, Nickquolette and I connected, and then I was doing some research. I was like, Barrett, what is that? I was like, wait a minute, can't be. I'm not sure if you lived in Chicago at the time or something just made me reach out. You were putting something out that talked about Chicago. I was like, hey,
Mhm.
would you happen to be related to such and such Barrett and this and that Barrett? And you were like, yeah, they're related to my husband. And my husband, I was like, wait a minute, we're cousins. Lo and behold, we're cousins.
Yes.
We are out here in the same field for years doing career
Mhm.
development coaching and did not know we were related.
Mhm.
So that's phenomenal. My first cousins are of the Barrett family, and
Mhm.
now we partnered years ago too. Though we did something
Mhm.
together with
Mhm.
Christo Chisholm.
Crystal. Yep.
Yep, that was
Mhm.
awesome. But yeah, people don't know.
Mhm.
People don't know that we are family.
No. So when they see, hey, cuz, they don't know. They just thinking I'm saying cuz, because that's our vernacular in our culture. But
Yep,
I'm like, no, for real. He's my cousin
yep,
through marriage.
yep. We
So
are
the
cousins in
sisters
these links.
married brothers, and that's how we became actually related. It's all through marriage. And I was like, what? So it was
Yeah.
so funny. We've known each other, didn't even know that connection. So I'm glad that you reached out and asked the question. I'm like, yeah, that's my husband, folks. So I am a Barrett.
That is crazy. And we still
Yes,
have
it is.
yet to meet in person.
Yes.
So hopefully that'll happen sometime. You're in Texas, I'm in Florida, but we'll make it
Mm-hmm.
work. We'll make it work.
Yes, indeed.
But so super excited. So share with folks more about how dynamic you are, your background and experience.
Oh, thank you. Let me see. Where should I start? Well, I am dual career. That's why this conversation today is going to be so awesome. I work 9 to 5 for a major insurance company, Fortune 39 organization, multi-billion-dollar organization. I'm actually in my hybrid week right now. So we have 1 week in the office and then we have 3 weeks out. So I'm in one of our conference rooms. And I love this week because I get the chance to put on clothes, comb my hair, and put on makeup. So, because that don't happen on the weeks at home. So,
Adulting. Yeah.
right. So I've been in corporate America for over 33 years, but with this current organization, almost 29 years in
Hmm.
May. And I've been in leadership for about 23 years in various positions, including corporate training down in our headquarters in Bloomington, Illinois. And then about 20 years in, I started my business. So I actually launched it on my 20th year anniversary at the organization, my business, doing resumes. So it just started out just doing the basic package of resumes back in 2014. And then it has evolved into an actual full fledged firm that I actually run in conjunction to my 9 to 5. And people always say, why don't you just leave? Well, I'm not going to tell my age, but I'm almost at retirement. So why?
Right. Exactly.
And we can talk
Exactly.
about that throughout the podcast as well. So that's what I do. And I'm four-time certified. I have my two solo books, and I'm a co-author of three other books. And I do a lot of speaking and training and teaching on all things career advancement and career development. And also, I have a 23-year-old daughter, and then my husband, and then I'm a mama of a Shapoo. And I say mama because it's my daughter's dog who she don't necessarily take care of, but I do, and I just spoil him rotten. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Love it, and that's my fear because I have six daughters, and the two younger ones want puppies. I'm like, you can't even keep your room clean. No, I'm not.
Exactly.
No,
And she,
I'm gonna be taking care of the dog.
yeah, and
Like
that's what
not
and yeah,
happening.
but that's why he follows me everywhere.
Exactly. Insane. So
Yeah.
I love that. And a shout out to your organization for,
Mhm.
honoring your personal
Yes.
brand and not interfering with that and seeing the value in that. So that's huge, huge, huge. So shout out to them.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Hmm.
which is befitting for the topic. So I love it.
Yes.
Why
Hmm.
every professional should have a side hustle.
Hmm.
Why do you think that is? Let's just jump right into it because I know you got a ton of nuggets. Why do you think that
Hmm.
is? When did that epiphany hit? Like, this is a must have for folks.
And it actually started hitting me during with COVID. That's really when it
Mm,
hit me because I saw all the actual layoffs and things like that. So I knew it was my plan to have something on the side. But then when I started looking at the layoffs and people being without, I'm like, man, if only they would have had something on the side that they were doing to present, to have that financial security. So that'll be my first point. Having this financial security for yourself. And even further, I don't just say financial security, I like to really call it options. And I have to
mhm.
give a shout out to my former business coach for using this word for us when she was training us years ago, to that she's working for options. And here's what she meant by that. And I have adapted that. Options to go to your favorite restaurant and not think about the price, or go to a restaurant and just go and I don't care how much it costs to just buy it. Don't second guess that you want to make this investment because you have the funds. Don't second guess whether or not you want to retire early or late because there is the option for you. So what it is presenting that financial security and having options. So if something comes your way, you're not thrown off guard. You're not in a state of panic or meltdown about your life because you have something else that you can fall back on, even if it's to fill that gap and you want to go back into an actual 9 to 5. So that's what I have developed for myself. And when she taught us that, I was only maybe 2 years into the business when I
Mhm.
started working with her, that has always stuck with me, is to have my goal to have options. So I'm not worried about making ends meet, especially even in this economy, Orlando.
Yeah.
Everything is so expensive. I was mad that I had to pay $9.95 for some eggs.
What?
Yeah,
I'm
it
seeing a
was a
bunch of
eight.
stuff
Yeah,
like that on
18
IG.
dozen. Yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, yeah, it's like, what in the world? I'm like, that is crazy. But when you have that extra income, you're not thinking, because you're not in the corporate America, your salary is not going to automatically increase because
Right.
inflation, is going on and prices are going up. So what do you do to make up that so you're not stressed out about even making a decision on whether or not you're going to buy the eggs? And so therefore, having that option in addition to your career, to me right now is critical for people to really think about and really invest themselves in.
I love it. I love it. And with that pandemic, I think you've seen there was
Mhm,
reports that a lot of folks who did not return started
mhm,
LLCs. So there was a
mhm,
surge of people doing it, but it possibly a little too late. Maybe I wouldn't say too late because you can still knock it out the park if you have the structure and the business plan correct.
mhm,
But what's keeping you? Because you said someone asked you,
mhm,
"Hey, you've been doing this for 20, you've been here for 29. Why don't you leave?" I know you just said
mhm,
you're close to retirement, but what are some
mhm.
additional benefits of being a dual? What did you say? What did you
Dual
say?
career,
Dual
dual
career. So
career,
an
and
entrepreneur and a
mhm.
career professional.
And for me personally, it was actually to nurture a passion and an outlet. In my role, I lead people. I have a team of claim adjusters. They work in some in Florida, I have some in New York, one in New York, and then I have the ones here in Dallas. And so, therefore, those skills that I use every day helps me in my business. So I don't just say I'm a career coach. I coach every single day. I don't
Mhm.
just say that I am a career developer. I develop and promote people all the time. So I do this thing to continuously make sure my skills are intact for what I do. So therefore, for me personally, I stay here not only because I'm close to that magic age, but it also gives me all the skill sets to keep me sharp and doing what I do, and not just when I happen to have a client. No, I'm doing this day in and day out. And so, therefore, when I'm doing that, I can use those skills in anything. Now, what I would say for people who are career minded and want to advance in their career, becoming your own boss and running your own company gives you the tools and the understanding from a business acumen piece
Mm.
that you can use in an interview when you're looking to get into that director role, that VP role, and if your focus is on getting to the C suite. Because how can you become a executive? Well, yeah, I shouldn't say that. You can become an executive, based on your work experience. But would it be a richer experience because now you have the business acumen because you know the back end of the finances, you know the back end of developing a strong team and staff, you know the back ends of making sure all your processes work. You have built your own OKRs and your KPIs for your own business. So when you start doing that, you can take all of those skill set and actually apply it in your interview when you're going up the ladder. And then you will understand your company better. Because I'm huge on business acumen. I always talk to
Mm.
my team here for years. They know I tell them, learn the business, not just your
Yep.
job. Learn the business so you
Business.
understand how you fit in to that piece. So when I think about career advancement and career development, doing something on the side will only enhance your knowledge to be able to speak effectively in that interview. So that would be my number 2 point is for career advancement if you're thinking about that.
I love that the transferable
Mhm,
skills. But what's key about that too, though, is that
mhm.
because you're consistently in corporate, new things that
Yeah.
pop up, you can even take
Mhm.
to your business, your personal business, or what's happening
Yes.
in your business. Take to it because it's parallel. So you're learning new things. You're staying involved. You're seeing what's changing. The like you said, the acumen, the culture, the shifts.
Mhm,
Because
mhm,
sometimes when you shift one from another, you can lose sight of one thing. But
mhm.
hosting both on your shoulders, I think you gain so much. There's so much value to that. You're like, hey, I
Yes,
just learned this
sir.
in a meeting I just had. Let me take this into my
Mhm,
business. Or a client said this and
mhm,
I gave them feedback and let me just take this into my next meeting with my team. Talk about some of the more recent things that you've
mhm.
seen parallel, that you said, "Oh, you know what, I'm gonna use this type of training to train my group or speak." You're fresh off a conversation at the chamber, so talk about
Mhm.
some of those skills that you learned in corporate, more specifically that you're using in your business.
That's such an awesome question because I tell people all the time, if you're looking to do your own business, do not follow the commercials say you can have a Lamborghini, just leave your job and just jump that and make you feel bad that you work and also have your side business. So thank
Right.
you for that segue. And in what I do, and I tell people, you learn better how to run a business while you're in an actual business. And yes, you take those things and you apply it to what you do. Now, for me to even say OKRs and KPIs and strategic priorities, that is all the talk that I learned right here. So, what
Mhm.
I've done is taken this massive multi-billion-dollar organization, Fortune 39 insurer. I've taken everything I've learned over the 28 and a half years and streamlined it down to fit iRock. So therefore, I learned in our meetings, and I'm looking at all that kind of stuff. And I've always, like I said, been really huge into business acumen, even though I didn't even have my business because I was always curious how the business worked. So when I start understanding all those things and how what I do make an impact, I translate that to my people, and then those same conversations I have with my staff. So I'm telling them these are the things that we need to do to move the needle. So
Mhm.
we had a 2022 and 2023 all staff meeting back in September, big old PowerPoint and everything. I had my mission, my vision, my goals, my strategic priorities are what are we about, our competencies that we stand for, everything broken down. Then that translates over to my project management system. These are 4 strategic priorities. If we're not going to do anything outside of that, and here's how we're going to reach our goals. So I have it all broken down: my keywords, my objective, my key results. What are the tasks and the tactics that's going to help us get there? So I'm speaking like a CEO because I've learned it
Mhm.
from the organization that I work for. So before you jump, because you're like, I can do this on my own, deuces. No. So suck up as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Learn. Then we're gonna talk back to the option about saving money and making sure you have a cush and a net that you can fall back on, and then jump out there. But it's about what do you why would you just jump out and start your own business only to have to run back because you didn't figure things out before? And that's another thing, Orlando. It disallows me to build one evening and one weekend at a time. But I tell people, build my business slowly so that I can make those mistakes without panicking because I'm running out of money. I haven't landed the client. I haven't booked the client because I still got my paycheck coming in. So
Mhm.
therefore, I don't have those unnecessary stresses. And I call those self-inflicted stress because you don't have to leave. So build it for yourself if that is your end goal when you want to retire or that you wanted to step away and do it fully. Stay longer at your organization so you can build without having the financial stress to build. Build all your systems, build your background, build everything you need to do. Because Orlando, when I roll off, my company is so established and stable. I'm not trying to develop systems because
Mm.
I've already done that with the comfort of my paycheck. I'm not trying to only do X, Y, and Z, build KPIs and all that kind of stuff. All I'm doing is updating them for the next year. I'm not trying to figure out my finances to have an awesome bookkeeper to tell me the financial health of my business. I'm doing that in the comfort while I still get my check. So once I roll off, then I'll have everything there to run the business, and I'm hitting the ground, selling and promoting, building, landing contracts. That's all I'm doing because the business is already set up and is successful with the internal systems to allow me to go out to build the financial plan behind it. And I'm gonna make sure I have a cushion because I don't take
Mhm.
the money that I earn and go buy red bottoms. I say that because that's what some of my young entrepreneurs do. They get that money, they just start spending it. No, I put that stuff in the bank and I keep watching it grow. So I have that nest egg before I leave. So that's what I want people to understand.
Love it. So let me ask this. We're
Mhm,
going to take a journey back. And was it
mhm,
your intention when you started iRock and in your current role
mm-mm,
for this path to like, you know what? I'm 20. This is my plan. 20 years in, I'm going to exit at
mm-mm,
30 here, whatever that number is,
no.
and I'm going to have this in place. Or was the original thought,
Mhm,
man, I might,
mm-mm.
it's that season to make a transition.
It's so funny. No, I was on the corporate train to get promoted. I
Hmm.
was on the list of on what they call the promotability list. I went down to Florida because I work with Florida claims. Went down to Florida and they had a look at the new second line leadership. So I did all of that stuff, and I was so focused on climbing the corporate ladder. So my business was actually a hobby because I love to write. So I just did it to help people get jobs. You have to do it internally as a leader anyway. Your responsibility as a leader is to develop your people. So for succession planning
Hmm.
and get them career development if they want to be a leader. So that's what you have to do anyway as a leader. And so therefore, I was just pretty good at it as far as writing internal resumes, helping people with interview prep, and getting people promoted. But then when it started really going well, two of my employees came back to me. I got them promoted from what we call a claim associate up to a claim adjuster role. And they got $14,000 increase in their salary. So they're like, well, Miss Nickquolette, you're really good at this. If I didn't work for you, I would pay you. I said, what, people can pay for this? Because I'm only corporate minded. I'm trying to
Yeah.
get the next promotion. I'm trying to go up the ladder because I had all of that planned out. She said, yeah. And then I said, that's right. I did pay somebody to do my resume when we transitioned from Chicago to Texas. And it was horrible. I ended up rewriting the whole thing because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to stay with the organization because they said, we don't have any openings for you in leadership. So I don't know what you're going to do. So I just got my resume ready. I said, well, I'll just find another job when I get down there. But they ended up finding something for me and I was able to transfer. So then I started thinking about it. I started talking about it on social media. Then
Mhm.
people I've worked with in the organization across different areas started weighing in and said, you help me, you help me. And I was like, maybe it's something to this thing. then I just started doing it as seriously as a hobby, just charging enough to get my manicure and pedicure done. That's it. I said, well, they will
Uh,
pay for that. And then I started that, well, that'll pay for this bill. I said, wait a minute, let me start really looking at this. And when people start getting these big jobs and start getting these increases, that's when I became serious. But no, that was not my initial plan. It was just something fun to do on my downtime because I love to do it. It wasn't a big challenge. It was like an outlet for me. And
mhm.
so it just evolved into what it is now. So that was a
Love it.
great question.
Love it.
Mhm.
And just to make clear, yesterday's prices are not today's prices.
No,
So
no, no.
we're not charging Manny Petty prices no more. Not
No,
at
no,
iRock.
no. And my clients taught me that, especially with my third client was a VP. I mean, was a director, and I got her a VP job, and she moved she was, I can't remember where she was, but when she went up to Washington, then she started sending me all her people, directors and stuff like that. And then I'm like, let me see, I got to do something different. So that's when I got really serious and started studying the industry and said, oh yeah, I can do this. As my experience grew, and I got the certifications and all the training in addition to my corporate background, then now I'm at a price that, yeah, this is what I do. That's my target audience.
Love it. So we shared some of the successes, and we'll get back to that for sure.
Mhm,
But talk about some of the struggles. Juggling
mhm,
both that folks that are looking to do it. I'm doing it. That we should look out
mhm.
for. Like you're 20 years in,
I,
so
yeah, so that's a good question as well because one of the things that you don't know where it's going to lead. Because one of the
yeah.
things I did not do when I first started, I wasn't tracking what I was doing. And I was just making pedicure, manicure money. I was just like, just money come into PayPal. I just use it for that. So I didn't keep really good books because I wasn't thinking about books. I was still trying to get promoted. So
Hmm.
I didn't do those things. And then I didn't even have a natural system to make sure that I am focused. So when I'm focused on my 9 to 5, I'm doing that. And then I can focus on my 5 to 9 and focus on that because some people will blend it and get confused. And then it would impact their results on where they are. And for me, I've worked very compartmental. I can't not. It was driving me crazy and having anxiety of trying to figure out all of this stuff. So I had to start building boundaries. So that's another thing we don't do. We don't build boundaries. We don't manage our time and understand that we have to time block to make sure that we are servicing our customers or clients in that end, and also making sure we keep in our 9 to 5. Because one of the things I teach in my I Hustle Intensive is that stay compliant with your organization. Take care of your business so you can take care of your other business. So do right by the organization who's giving you that check, and make sure you honor your tasks with them so they don't have to come and question you at all. And my leaders here still marvel. They're like, it never impacts what you do because I've compartmentalized that stuff. I know how to separate it and make sure I do it properly. And even in my home, now that we work partially at home, I have the in my loft. I have the corporate my 9 to 5 headquarters. And then when I'm done with that, I'll walk into my converted bedroom office to the iRock headquarters. So I literally physically also have it separate. So there's no interference there. So people need to make sure that they look at it from a perspective. How am I going to do this business? How am I going to implement it and make sure I'm staying true so I don't lose this job while I'm trying to service my customers? So that's time management, being organized, compartmentalizing. And when you're on your 9 to 5, do your true 9 to 5 and then on 5 to 9. And then also train your clients and your customers to that as well, because they
Mm.
cannot book me. You can go out there and book me right now, and you will only be able to book me after 4:30 or on Saturday. So you're
That's
not
it.
booking me at 10 o'clock in the morning because I'm at work.
Yeah.
And my clients, they laugh and say, boy, this is something that you work full time. I say, yep, it's out there on LinkedIn. I don't hide it at all. So,
Yeah.
and they appreciate that too, because my clients work also. I don't have a lot of clients who do not work. They work, and so they can't talk to me until after work anyway. So you train that and you set yourself up with those parameters and you'll be successful.
Love it. Love it.
Hmm.
So the juices get to flowing. You're 15, 16 years in, hit 18 years. You say you're about 20 years in now?
And what at the company? No, my
iRock.
iRock is will be 9 in
9 years.
May, but I've been with this particular organization almost 29 years.
Got it.
Hmm.
So 7 years into iRock, you decide
Hmm.
to add more to your plate after being a wife, being an
Hmm.
employee, being a business owner, being a mom. You decide to write a book
I know.
to add more to the plate.
Yes, and people don't know it was published then, but I had started writing the book, and it was so funny because a lot of my peers in the industry who were older than me, they were like, "I've been in this industry for 30 years and I've never written a book. How you come up with a book?" I said, "I don't know. I just start writing, and I do little by little. Those little pockets of time, notes here, notes there, and all that kind of stuff. And the book became so big. I said, it's too much in here. I have to separate it out. So then I did the volume one, which is only about resumes, then the volume two, only about interview prep. But I just did it again one evening and one weekend at a time. But it took several years for me to write it, and it just ended up
Wow.
compiling together. My best friend, who's an awesome editor, edited it for me, and then we published it. So that's what it was. So it was like in between. So it wasn't like I sat down on the weekend and wrote it. But I tell people, I said it took me a long time to write that book, but I eventually got it out. But it was little by little. And I have to say, it was when I didn't have a client. If I don't have a client, I'm going to make use of my time and do something else to continue to push the business forward. That's another thing that people got to realize. And I also
Mm.
tell my new, the people who are actually in my intensive now, I said, do all of your systems and all that kind of stuff now before you get a client. So you have to redo it. So whatever they can do in their industry, do it now when you don't have clients.
Love it.
Yep.
I'm getting to a point where I'm needing a virtual assistant or definitely an editor. So
Yes,
I'm scouting
sir.
for some
This
folks.
podcast is awesome. You need you some help, boo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's getting tough. It's getting tough. It's
Yes.
getting tough, guys. So when you talk about pushing the business forward, talk to us about the sacrifices you had to make. One, and the sacrifices you chose to make.
Mhm. And the sacrifices I had to make was like, if I had to choose not to do a lot of extracurricular stuff. So if I said, I want to go to the movie, but I got to get this client's package ready, I would, forego that. Or my daughter say, Mom, can you go with me and do this, and that? And I'm like, you know what? I have to pick and choose when I can do that. And then me and my honey, if we can do a date, that's good. That's a win. But sometimes
Mhm.
those went by the wayside. But so therefore, there were some sacrifices, but they also knew what I was building as well on the side when I became serious. But now, and it was all because I was trying to get everything in place so it could run better without me in the day to day. So all of that groundwork I had to do in order for me to have a little bit more freedom. So now it's coming to the fruition. Like now I'm able to do more things because I have such a great foundation and a great staff behind me to help me. So when I'm here at work doing my 9 to 5, I have assistants that are doing all the other stuff for me, so I don't have to do that. So when I have my time and I have that client on my account, I plot them on my calendar. I said,
Mhm.
this is so and so's time. That's all I'm going to do. I have a cutoff. So then, if me and my family want to go to dinner, we go out and eat too much. But anyway, so because I'm not a cook. That's another thing. They don't get no cooked meals from me. But anyway, no. So therefore, we're like, okay, if mama gonna work. They were like, okay, what we gonna eat? So therefore, that's some of the things that at sacrifice. They don't get the cooking from mama. They don't necessarily like my cooking anyway. My husband is the cook. Excellent cook. But anyway, so I have to make those different choices based on what's going on and how many clients I have, how many clients I don't have. So when I have those downtimes, I'm more attentive. So yeah, lots of sacrifices, but I'm getting to the place now. The business is 9 years old. I have my systems, I have my process, I have a really good staff that I can do more. Mhm.
So as you coming close to the top of your corporate career, doing 30 years, and you look at
Mhm.
the stages of where iRock resume is, how are you looking to grow that and evolve that once you have sole
Mhm.
focus on iRock resume? How are you projecting what
Oh,
that looks
that's
like?
a great question. Oh, you got some good questions, cuz. I'm like,
It's what I do.
yes, exactly. Oh gosh. Okay, so what I plan to do when I roll off of State Farm, when I actually say yes, this is now time for me to retire. I've reached my financial goal that I need to be comfortable to retire. Then I am going to be really looking at doing contracts because I think that's where, for me, my business is going to actually extend and grow. I have a partnership already where I'm on Reach Results. Shout out to reachresults.com. under their professional branding is powered by iRock Resumes. So you can go out there
Mm.
and take a look at that. So I'm going those partnerships where she funnels clients actually to me. But what I want to do is get into companies and actually work with their emerging leaders, basically succession planning. I want to help them get their emerging leaders ready for leadership opportunities, help their leaders get ready for middle management opportunities, help their middle managers get ready for those C-suite opportunities through career
Mm.
development and everything I've learned here at this organization I work for. So that's my dream. That's something I'm working to be able to get into. And then someone else keeps telling me I need to go be a keynote speaker. I said, maybe I'll do that once I'm done. I said, but I cannot become a keynote speaker right now because that's a huge business in itself because I work. I said, so I'm not going to be flying to somewhere on a Tuesday to do a keynote. I said, I know that's a boundary I have set for myself. Yes,
Right.
can I do it? But I am not ready to do that now. So that may be something I on the basically on the what they call it a circuit, a speaker
Yep.
circuit.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I'll be doing that and on things related to career development and advancement, and my new focus of really helping people build their side hustle. Those are the things I'll be focusing on once I retire. Mm-hmm.
So I love that plan, and I think it's so
Mm-hmm.
crucial because companies need to hire external professionals to support the
Mm-hmm.
internal
Yes.
growth of the company.
Mm-hmm.
Because trying to do it so much internally, I think, because you have your day to day work. How much time can you put into your team and build them? I mean, you're
Yeah.
living it, so you can do so
Mm-hmm.
much because you still have your personal work to do, unless you're an expert like yourself to be able to do that. But it's I think once you go back and you mentioned the company name, so I'll mention it again. State Farm
Mm-hmm.
obviously should get you back in on contract once that starts. So I'm gonna put it out
Yeah,
there.
I'm
State Farm, you
coming.
hear me?
They know I'm
State,
coming.
I have State Farm, so if you don't do it, I'm dropping. No,
And they know I'm coming. And it's so funny to your point of talking about that. One of the secretaries here, she was working over on the agency side. She said, "Girl, you need to be speaking to the agency conferences. They
yep,
pay good money over there." So she was trying to research to see it. They said, "Nope, she worked for the company that's double dipping." So she was so mad. She said, "Don't worry about it. When you leave, you just put in your application." I said, "I
yep,
am," because I already bleed State Farm. I already, I know the company culture, and
yep.
so therefore I will be a great fit. So that they are my first attack when I when I retire.
I love
But
it.
yeah,
We're
but
live.
also
We're
to you,
live on LinkedIn.
right.
Everybody's seeing this, and I love it. I love it.
And also to your point of hiring people externally, what I have found also being in corporate America a long time, not all leaders want to develop people, and
Hmm.
not all leaders are capable and equipped to develop other leaders. And that's another thing that a company also misunderstand that. They just think that you're in leadership, you're supposed to do that. Not everybody can. And
Right.
so therefore they need something else to somebody externally to be able to come in to help them. And you don't want too much of the development internally because then you develop groupthink. And so therefore everybody's taking the same stuff and everybody doing the same thing. It's like, okay, where's the innovation? What about the creativity? What about those outside the box? But everybody in corporate America a lot of times stay right in that box, and you can't break out. But what about some other thinking? So having some other thought leaders come in to look at it a little bit different really would help.
Love it. I think it's super crucial too because well, you're in a unique position. I think you're in a very unique position because you train for a living. So
Hmm.
you're in that
Yep.
mode, like you mentioned earlier, developing,
Hmm.
training, coaching. So it
Hmm.
was
Yep.
natural to when you pitched over to your business, you're training, coaching,
Hmm.
developing. So super blessed
Hmm.
in that way for it to align the way you do.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
folks in HR or operations or IT may not have that, right? And that's where I think
Hmm.
the C-suite needs to say, hey, how do we get better?
Hmm.
Where are pockets where our leaders are not leading the best way, and that's where they
Hmm.
need to allocate dollars to the outside and start don't waste it where it's maybe being wasted. I don't know where folks are hiding their money,
Hmm.
but yeah, definitely
Yeah.
a
Yes,
corporation,
exactly.
so corporations have the money. They're
Hmm.
doing tons of layoffs, so there's money to be had to go out and kind of refine
Exactly.
and retune
Hmm.
and retrain their people now. So that's an investment they immediately need to make. So there's no
Hmm.
excuse for that. No excuse.
Hmm.
What are some again some pain points that again folks that are dual careered should look out for as they start this journey or continuing in this journey?
Trying to do it all yourself.
Mm,
Now, I'm a big believer in bootstrapping. I bootstrapped everything in my business. I have bootstrapped everything. But one thing I do regret is not hiring help sooner. And I've heard it. I listen to tons of business podcasts. I'm my business coach. But I still like, I got to keep this money. I can't afford it. I can't afford it. But now I'm like, how could I have not afforded it? So don't, I'm not saying that you have to hire right away, but
hmm
think about your future and you're gonna know when it's time to let go. And when I did that, I mean, it opened up my mind to the fact that you become, some people say, become serial entrepreneurs. I started hiring so many people. You know what I do now, Orlando? I don't know if it's for age too. I think like this. I do it all through my life. I said, before I do it, I think about, I said, okay, this needs to be done. I
hmm
ask myself, who can do it? On down to washing the toilets, cleaning the toilets. So
Yep.
that's what I think. I'm like, okay, I'm not doing that. I got other stuff to do. So who can do this for me? And I just sent gave my I do have my phone. Yeah, I sent a text message to my director of operations. And he's also my executive VA, Ian Butre. And I said, Ian, I told him, I said, help hold me accountable to resist the urge to do tasks that are meant for the virtual assistants. Because I don't get in there because I'm quick and I know how to do stuff. I know how to do Canva. Because I bootstrapped so long, I learned how to do all this stuff. Shout out to YouTube, y'all. I learned everything on YouTube University,
Yep.
even down to
Yep.
knowing how to code. I know how to code my website to get the bold and the italics and the white. I know how to do all of that. But I learned all of that because I was bootstrapping. So now I told you got to hold me accountable. If you see me going and doing some tasks that you're supposed to be doing or the other VAs be doing, you better make sure I stop it because I need to only be focused on what a CEO does. And that's
Right.
the only thing that I can do. My VAs are not going to write my resumes for my clients. They're not going to do the coaching. They're not going to do the selling because I love talking to the clients and stuff to let them know the value I bring. So they're not going to do that. But when it comes to making sure the documents are in, the workflows are working on the system, and they downloading stuff and get all the folder ready for me, they can do that. But I'm not going to be downloading and creating no folders. Y'all do that. Those little things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I was doing all of that, taking a download and all that, I said, that's taking too much time. No. So therefore, you have to think about what is it truly that you need to do and start small and
Yeah.
hiring people out. But I will say on the caveat too, be careful of hiring your friends. Now that I've not hired a friend. I mean, I do have one that works with me, but she is an anomaly. She could really work well with me. But be careful because not everybody will really truly understand your passion. You're going to have to
Yeah.
really find someone who will respect you as a boss and
Yeah.
not just your friend. So that just be careful on that. And that's the only thing that I will say, because there was two that I did hire through a networking group and we became friendly, but it became too friendly. And then it was like not a good thing. So I wanted to get somebody totally that didn't know me, who will respect me as their boss and actually do it. So those are the different things. But yeah, I think like, this has to be done. Now, who can I get to do it? That's all I think about now, Orlando. I try
Mm.
my best not to do anything. And I told him for 2023, you better get me if I do it. If you see me checking off your tasks, you better come at me.
Exactly. Oh, I'm taking
So
it out your
yep,
check.
you're right. Stop it. So I gotta focus on what I need to do only. And that also goes back to me freeing up my time.
hmm
Because like my daughter said, you're always on that computer. Then why you got a virtual assistant? Why you got Ian? He's supposed to be doing that. I said, you right, Pooh. You right. So I have to stop it because I was like, yeah, I actually did assign it to him, but I just started doing it.
Yeah.
I gotta
Yeah.
stop that.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. He be making his job easier.
Yeah. He's like, ain't nothing for me to do. Boss, we did it. And
I
then I
know.
don't feel bad. I still pay him because I shouldn't have did it anyway. He waiting on his check. I'm like, yep, go ahead. So yeah, and
Oh
that's
boy.
something I'm working on for myself for 2023 is be better about that.
I
Hmm.
get it. I get it. It can be hard. It can be hard because,
Hmm.
like you said, you bootstrap. You had to learn so many facets of it, and it's so easy for you once it pops in your brain. Let me just go execute. Versus, hey, let's plan this out. You're like, oh, I want this done now.
Hmm.
When you talk about the mental toughness of again the dual career. Share
Mhm.
some of those parts where you're wanting to expand. You're like, wait, this is not the season for it. I got a lot on my plate here at corporate, or a great, like you mentioned, a great opportunity to be a keynote speaker. Hey, we need you in
Mhm.
Italy on Tuesday, Nickquolette. Can you make it? It's
Mhm.
paying X amount of dollars. You're like, I got a big meeting coming. Like, oh my God, can I
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
those struggles in a positive sense? To be like, hey, I have to pass on this, or because of that.
And that is so, I'm gonna tell you as recent as of yesterday, having that awesome opportunity at Plano and the reception, I was just like, I am living. This is what I'm supposed to be doing every single day. So I get on the phone with my friend who works with me, who talks me off the ledge. She's really my calm to my craziness. So I'm on that girl. I think I'm gonna put on my resignation. I'm as soon as November comes. And I'm just going on. She said, hold up, Nick, hold up. You got to stick to your plan, stick to your path, and you already know because I told her what my financial lady told me to do. She said
Uh,
she told you what to do. She said no. So it's hard because when you have that kind of thing and you know that you're helping people and you know that this is your element, you're gonna want to jump. And so
mhm.
therefore, and even at that event, they were like, "You need to be keynoting. You need to be." I said, "I can't do that." I said, "I have to be honest. I cannot do that because I cannot. I don't want that pressure of something like that, somebody inviting me. So what I do to make sure I stay away from keynote, I don't put myself out there as a speaker. I speak to sell my services. So that's why I tell people I speak to sell because everything I'm going to tell you is leading right back to iRockResumes.com. So
Mhm.
that's what I'm doing. But I have a keynote speech, and we're actually developing a retreat to learn how to do TEDx talks and stuff like that for my group, the Society of Elite Resume Writers and Coaches. So we're going to be probably doing that in Colorado. And I told her I just want to be able to develop it properly for when I do roll off. That's what I'm going to do. I want to use it not only for a TEDx talk, but I want to use it for any keynote. And I told her my topic. She said, "That is awesome." I said, "I'm just holding it." I said,
Mm.
"But I don't want to do that because I think that would be a disservice to the company I work for and also disservice to my family because I already don't have much time at all. I don't want to do that." And that's me developing boundaries and also
Yeah.
having leadership maturity. And I would say that because it takes a mature person to be able to do that. And not only mature in sense, but I think it comes with age too, wisdom. So yeah, I am getting old, y'all. So therefore, and I've seen a lot. I've been through so many different ups and downs, even within the organization, the changes that we've done. So I'm like, it's just not time. I know when it's the right time, and that's how I build. I build when it's the right time. I have a whole list of ideas in my not one no my Evernote. I have all of these things, but it's a time and place for all of that. I don't
Yeah.
need to do all that. And then I go and review those and check off. Say, nope, that's not viable for what I want to do anymore. I'm going to check those off. And I also have gifted a lot of those ideas to other people. I just recently gifted to a life coach. I was trying to do this women's retreat and all of this kind of stuff. And it was a challenge trying to put that together for the women's group. And I said, "Hey, sis, this more up your alley. You life coach. I ain't no life coach. I'm a resume writer. You want this?" She said, "Yeah." There you go. I gave it to her because I'm like, no, that ain't me. And it's so funny because my best friends are men. I would have, and I love women, but I'm like just saying, no. I'm like, no, I can't do it this way. Girl, take this. I ain't, no, juice this. So that's me. So you have to just think about when is the right time for you to do something, and it's okay to say no, and it's
Yeah.
also to say not now, and that's when what you have to do because again, I have to be in alignment with my organization. They are very
Mhm.
supportive of me. You said that earlier. I mean, even when I told my boss where I said, "Okay, I'll be right back. I have to take a send lunch. I got to speak over the Plano, then I come back." So he's like, "How'd it go?" So he's like, "Good luck." And how did it go? All that support. When I get that from the art company that I work for, there's no way I'm gonna do them wrong. I'm gonna do everything I can to remain loyal so I can do the right things by them so I can get to do the right things for myself and my business.
I mean, I wish I can speak to. Actually, there's a term for that where it's called the creator employee, where it was an article written
Mm,
by the editor in chief of LinkedIn, where it talks about companies really pouring into their employees who have personal brands that can turn around and
mhm,
leverage. and heighten the visibility of the company, or for talent
Hmm.
attraction. So I think that's so crucial. There should be a
Yeah,
space, or almost like building an ERG around the
that would be
employee
so
personal branding.
awesome.
Yeah, leveraging all
Hmm.
that so they can
Because
speak.
everywhere I go,
Yep.
I tell people who I work for, I spread their name out, and I tell people from a point, I'm dual career. I'm here on borrowed time, and I got to do it. When I came back, I went right back to my work and catching up on my work and put in my time. But I do everywhere I go. I talk about it. When I tell people go look up with me on LinkedIn, they're like, "You also do that too?" So it does. It's a branding for them as well, and they are everywhere I go say the same thing. Like, I cannot believe your company does that, because that's the biggest question I get.
Yeah.
How are you in compliance? One of the things, I don't sell insurance. I don't do anything in insurance. I don't. I'm not a body shop. I don't do anything like that. So everything I do is outside of that. And so
Right.
you want to be in compliance and go through your HR department to make sure, because that's what I teach too. Talk to your HR department. No, if you're going to try, let's say, for example, Orlando, I am in insurance. Then all of a sudden I want to consult on how to make a proper personal injury protection claim or something like that, and start doing that as a consultant. That's a direct conflict. So you
Absolutely.
don't want to do that where you're sharing information that you have with your company on there. Now, once you retire and you're done with that, then you can consult on something like that if that's your desire. So some people want to do the same thing that they're already doing, but want to do it as their own business. That's a conflict. So they have to figure out, when are they going to do it? Because some people in my cohort right now, they said, well, what I want to do is doing it. I already do it for my 9 to 5, but what I'm trying to do is build it, because I'm near retirement, and I'm going to launch it in a different space, but the same type of thing that I'm doing, but it's going to be for a different audience. And he said it's a direct conflict. So I'm just learning the skills now. So when I'm done, I can go and do it. And that's the right thing to do.
Love it. So who
Mhm.
has Nickquolette become since the launch of iRock Resume, and how does that have impacted your leadership now?
Wow. Where do you get these questions from? Uh,
God, God.
yeah. Okay. I have become, I would say, 2022, probably in the middle, I finally became the CEO.
Mm,
Yeah. I finally understood the bigger picture of where I'm trying to take iRock. Before, when you're working in your business, you are really just servicing the customers. You're serving
mhm.
your clients. You're getting your products and your services out. You're doing all of that. And you're not really, you say on paper, because on paper, CEO founder, that's on paper, because I do own the company. But actually truly walking in it and actually saying that, yes, you are really the owner and the chief executive officer of the organization, not just by name, but you feel it. That's when I have evolved into that. So I would say that, and it took, again, that was eight years to be able to do that, because I said, yeah, I'm a CEO and founder, but I was like, but I'm a get higher strategist. I'm a 4-time certified resume. I do all that
Yeah.
because that's what I did. That's the tactics. But now I'm like, oh gosh, I know what it is now to be a true CEO. So now my whole focus is leading as the CEO of the organization. Although I do love the coaching and the resume writing and stuff, those are the things I do for the company. But I'm the CEO, so I'm looking at KPIs, I'm looking at OKRs, I'm looking at systems, I'm looking at processes, I'm looking at the financial health, I'm looking at operational health. So I'm
Mhm.
speaking and moving like a CEO now in my business.
And I love you said OKRs. I think that book, I forgot the title of the book, phenomenal book, is better than looking at KPRs, looking at the key results versus the key indicators. So
Mm-hmm.
OKRs are, I think, produce more output, more better output for an organization. But
Yes, sir.
uh, two
Mm-hmm.
things. A quick story when you said that, it was funny because I was doing real estate years ago, and I was giving my
Mm-hmm.
family my business card and said CEO, and my older brother said, "What CEO? What are you, the CEO of this card?" I was like, "Oh man!" I said, "You just,"
Wow.
I was like, "You just
Yeah,
busted
the
my
family
bubble."
will deflate you in a minute. They'll bring you
He
back
said,
to reality.
he said, "You ain't but the CEO of this card." I was like, "Oh, that's okay, bro. Okay."
Yeah.
But um, what's funny is when you were also talking about the vision for it. Um, did you feel though working in your passion for business acumen, understanding the company you work for, Fortune 3900, this big business, all the mechanics and how it operationally works, and then did you at some point obviously have a small vision for your own brand, even though you were coming and had all this knowledge, institutional knowledge of how the organization will work when it came to your own business? Was it like you felt you had a small vision until it grew year over year?
Yeah, and what my business was, it was a business.
Hmm.
I now call it a company and a firm. That's a big
Okay,
difference.
got it.
So I transferred it over because it was a business. I was just doing transactional. I was just, take the money, do the service, take the money, do the service. And now it's evolved it. Okay, how can I serve you beyond the service that you just purchased? So I'm looking at it from a long-term perspective. How do I keep the clients coming back, which they come for the iRefresh maintenance program, which is awesome. But even beyond that, what do you need? How can I assist you further to help you get to what you need? So all of that has really evolved since last year. And I have to give a shout out to the 10KSB program. I don't know if you part of that yet, the
Mm.
Goldman Sachs. That also
Oh yeah,
put
yeah, yeah,
me
yeah.
through those modules, intense modules, to be able to see all facets of the business and make me start thinking more like a CEO. So
Wow.
when I start looking at all of the things that the organization has been doing, and I have been successful in transferring those skills, I didn't know what to call it. I didn't know, I wasn't compartmentalizing. I kind of understood it, but it wasn't until I sat down all of July up until we had our all staff meeting in August that I thought through every single piece and crumb of my business. So when I presented it to my team, and then they were like, "Oh my gosh, girl, you have really broken this down." I said, "Yep, I finally get it." And so, therefore, being able to take an organization like that and streamlining it down to what I do on a day to day basis so that it makes sense to someone I'm explaining it to, that's what I had to take a step back to be able to do that. Because last year I told my team, I said, this is not a money making year for us. We got to get all of our processes together. We got to get our books together. We got to do all of these things. If we make money, that's great. And we did, but it wasn't all that promoting and all that kind of stuff. I said, I do not want to get out there with a new program or anything until we got all of these things in place. And
Mm.
that's what we worked on. And so now being able to go out and do that, I stand firmly and I'm able to talk about it. Because even when I was at the discussion yesterday, I didn't just teach them about LinkedIn. I taught them about balancing. I taught them about making sure that you have your strategic priorities, your OKRs, and have a strategy on why you're even going to get on LinkedIn. Don't just get on there just to be on there. What's your strategy? Tie a financial goal to it. Tie a connection goal to it. What kind of connections do you need? So I go deeper into what it is because of a business owner and things that actually opened my eyes to all the training that I did last year. Because I did 4 cohorts, one including the ICF, the University of Texas here in Dallas, and State Farm paid for that for me. I mean, that was tuition reimbursement that they
Hmm.
allowed me to take that executive and professional coaching certification at the University of Texas at Dallas. And I mean that, and I use because we coach all the time, so they pay for it because that's what we have, a coaching culture here at State Farm. So therefore, I did all those things to better prepare me to run my business and transform it into a company.
So that talk to us a little bit more. Time is racing. Um,
Mhm.
was it the systems that transform it from a company to a firm, or was there more than that to it? Was there additional items to it?
I would say
Po-
the systems first,
Okay.
systems and the processes. So the systems and the processes, and I mean, I thought I was keeping really good books. Oh, Orlando, my books were a mess. And I found I had because I okay, I ain't no financial guru. So I'm sitting up here, whatever category go in, I just want to count it. Categories are all wrong, everything. And when we were going through the financial piece, if they say in 10KSB, everybody hates, but it's the thing that you have to go through.
Yeah.
That was the biggest aha. I went and cleaned up I cleaned up my books from the first time I started, as far back as I could track. Even I didn't have all the numbers for when I was doing manicure, pedicure, but I tracked as far as I could. And I myself, because nobody knows but me, I cleaned up all those books because everything I was giving my bookkeeper and accountant was all wrong based on the input I was making. So all of the stuff they were doing was all wrong because of what I did. So, and that's another thing, doing tasks I ain't got no business doing. Why am I in there reconciling stuff? I don't know. I'm just getting, it's a task to me. I'm just clearing it out.
You
That
just
was bad.
you're not reconciling, you're wrecking. Right? Yeah.
So I had to clean that all up. And they give you a business coach to work within. And he said, you got to get all this clean. So after we got all of that cleaned up, then now I have a dashboard. So it
Mm,
was the systems, the processes, creating a dashboard that evolved into developing my strategic priorities, that evolved into my OKRs and all of the KPIs that I need to tie to it and get the results. So it's piece by piece. That's all I did last year is transform the company from a business into a company and a full-fledged firm. And I
love it.
now I can go out and do it. It's like, nope, I got this. Go ahead, go here. And when people ask me to speak and stuff like that, they were like, "How'd you get that stuff to me?" I have a organized folder in my Google Drive of all my headshots, all of my bios. Orlando, I got my bios broken down to 50 words, 75 words, 100, all
Wow.
down. So I tell my team, pick one, just send it.
Love it. Love it. So
Yeah.
you absolutely went from working in the business to working on the business and growing it. Love
Yeah.
it. So you mentioned earlier the resume group, and I seen that you posted it on LinkedIn. It was a transition between you and a good friend, Melanie Denny. So talk to us about that.
Oh, I was so excited. I was at work doing my 9 to 5, and all of a sudden she inboxed me and said, "Hey, do you want to take over SERW?" I'm like, what? I was like, yeah. What? Yeah. What's wrong? That's all I did. It was like, what in the world? And then I said, okay, well, we need to talk. So we talked after work. I said, what's wrong? What's going on? She said, I know that kind of came out of left field, didn't I? I said, of course it did. You are our leader. What you talking about? And so we started talking about it. She said, you've done several sessions with the group. They love everything that you do. And I believe you could take it to the next level. So I want to entrust the group to somebody I feel comfortable with taking it to that next level. And I'm like, first of all, I'm honored and I'm still in shock. And I'm like, okay, now what's really wrong? And then she
Mm,
said, nothing. I just want to do something totally different. That's more of my passion, this stage of my life. And that's what I want to do. And so, therefore, I know you still love all of this, and I want you to have the opportunity to do it. And she said, I thought of you. I said, well, I'm honored. Yes, let's do this. So we worked in all the transition from November. I think she asked me in October. So we worked November, December to get it all transferred over and everything. And then I became official the owner and not founder, owner and new president and business strategist for the Society of Elite Resume Writers. I added coaches to it because there was a lot of talk in the group that people want to be coaches, and I'm a coach. I just finished the ICF program as well. So I said, I'm going to add coaches. And so they went crazy. They like, yes. And so they received me well. And I'm so excited to lead such an awesome group. We're like 305
wow.
and growing. And I think on LinkedIn is up to 402, I last counted. So we have a strong presence. And I'm talking about the Facebook group is off the chain. They share so many resources, nuggets, and everything. So it's an awesome opportunity to be able to lead that awesome group.
If you need like a podcast partner to highlight some of these talented folks, we can do a little something.
Cause I got you. You can ask me anything. Yeah, just like Nick, I need you to do this. Yep, what you want? Yes,
Love it,
you
love it. And
got it, sir.
shout out to Melanie to having the foresight for that. She's an awesome resume writer.
Yes, she
Um,
is.
and for her to say, you know what, I'm ready to hand my baby over, because I seen when she was posting it and building it, and to say, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I need to, and to see that I know you can take it to the next level because I'm redirecting my focus. That's so shout out to her for seeing that and doing that. So last
Mm-hmm.
question. What we talked about the future a little bit of iRock. Um, what's changed in the last 2 years in terms of the components to iRock, not system wise, but what are you offering going forward? What does
Mhm.
that look like?
Oh, that is so awesome to ask because one of the things I was always getting asked is how the heck do you do what you do? Balance
Hmm.
your corporate job, and especially as a corporate leader, as well as your
Yeah.
your side gig. And so people always ask it, and I would give generalities. I said it's too much into it. So therefore, what I did is I said I'm going to go ahead, and it was one of those things I put in my back pocket. I'm gonna launch a side gig cohort and training intensive. I'm gonna take everything I know to cut out all the mistakes I made and tell them exactly what they need to do. So 30 days post the 4 week intensive, they can stand up their side hustle if that's what they want to do, or they
Mhm.
have everything that they need set up once they retire or roll off or whatever they want to do. So I pulled together an actual course and I launched my first one, and they're graduating this Saturday coming, and I
Oh,
sent them through.
nice.
We get online, I teach them everything, and we have brainstorming sessions. I work with them on their logo, their branding, their taglines, and getting them think niche. I work through all of that so they can launch it. So that's the biggest thing. Actually doing that, and one of the things I'm going to be doing, I have another cohort actually coming up in April, so I'm going to do them probably every 3 months. So I have another one coming up, or every quarter in April. And one of the other things I'm going to be launching sometime next month is relaunching, I should say, my resume writers business course, teaching resume writers not just to write resumes, great resumes, but how to stand up a business. Because that's one of the things I didn't have a lot of support on, how to run a business. I knew I had a lot of organizations that would teach you how to write resumes and everything. I think they're now getting into the business concepts of that, but I didn't really see anybody actually teaching you how to do it without, maybe you get a coach and you could talk to a coach. But I'm talking about an actual system.
Hmm.
So I said I developed my own. So I graduated my first cohort, and I didn't get back to it because I was building last year. So I'm gonna be launching that as well. And we also do outplacement services for organizations and learning and development, in addition to all of the executive coaching and career document preparation.
Love it. Love it.
Mhm.
Nickquolette, cuz share with the folks where they can find you, consume everything that you got going on, and participate in any programs that you have.
Oh, but I appreciate that. I am on iRockResumes.com and all social media at iRockResumes. But my virtual place of business is on iRock Resumes. There's a button there that says work with us, do either the career professional or the business, and then you can find a service
Mm.
for you. And then follow me on LinkedIn. That's where I hang out the most. That's my jam. And then, of course, I'm on Facebook, and I'm not too much on TikTok. I watch a lot of TikTok because I'm learning about it, but I'm not on TikTok yet. But I do a lot of stuff on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. I rock resumes. And my name, if y'all see that long name down there, I am the only one on LinkedIn, as well as Facebook and Twitter with that name.
Oh, wow.
That's one unique thing about me. You put in NICKQ, I know I am the only one out of billions of people that's on these social media platforms with that name. So you can follow me there.
Awesome. Awesome. What keeps you, final question, what keeps you motivated? What's your internal motivator that keeps you going every day?
The joy of the Lord.
Amen. Amen.
Whatever I want to do, I seek Him first, and I pray. And I said, God, what would you have me to do? And so when I'm looking to Him to guide and lead me and direct me, that's what I do. And it's also good to have a strong network that you can lean on,
Hmm.
meaning, not only inside of your company, but also external. So if you have a best friend that you could just, you need that person. And you need a business bestie that knows the struggles of a business and you can talk those things through. That's what keeps me motivated. Because again, we all go through challenges, and people always say, why are you always so happy? I said, don't misplace my smile and joy and my enthusiasm for happiness, but understand it's joy. And so therefore I choose joy in spite of and because of. And that's how I operate, in joy.
Love it.
Mhm.
That's what the word says. Love it.
Yes.
Love it. Thank you so much. I'm gonna just say, cuz, love you, appreciate you for coming
Love
on.
you too. Virtual hugs.
Right. Tell the husband, tell the daughter I said hello. And we definitely got
I
a
sure
plan to meet
will.
in person. I haven't been out to Texas, so it'd be great to travel out there to see y'all. But
And
any
if I'm in Florida, I'm gonna come see you and all them
absolutely.
girls,
Oh
beautiful
yeah,
girls,
all of them.
and tell your
All of
wife I said hello. Is she
them.
still doing her fishing board thing?
She hasn't done it this year. I think she's going to do it. Well, she hasn't done it last year. I think she's going to do it this year sometime. But yeah,
Yeah, good, good. I'm glad she's still
awesome.
doing that. Good.
Just be
Tell her I
careful.
said
Once
hello.
if you come out here and you walk through the door and we race off, we're like, babysitter's gay. Your cuz got you. We go.
Say, bye, we going on a date.
You're
And
right.
I
Date
will
night for
revel
mom
in
and
all
dad.
of that. I will have a ball.
Awesome. Awesome. Well,
Yes,
folks,
sir.
absolutely follow Nickquolette, consumer information, connect with her, get her book, etc., etc. But I'm gonna close this out with a quick video. But thank you so much, Nickquolette. I know you got to go, so don't worry about holding on. But I'll email you afterwards. We can do some more collaborations. Love you.
Okay.
Continued
Thank you,
success.
cuz. Have a wonderful day, sir. Bye, everybody.
Bye.